no escape.
Jake forced himself forward despite every instinct telling him to run. Emma discovered fresh footprints that suddenly ended beneath a massive pine tree. Ryan touched the ground and felt powerful vibrations moving beneath the roots. Then every tree slowly turned toward them at exactly the same moment, and the forest became completely silent. Ryan aimed his flashlight toward the giant pine tree, but the footprints suddenly appeared behind them instead. Emma's camera captured dozens of shadowy human figures standing silently between the trees. Jake turned around, only to discover their path had completely vanished, swallowed by the living forest. Emma zoomed in on the camera screen and realized the silent figures weren't strangers. They were every rescue team that had vanished over the last 50 years. Before anyone could speak, every shadow slowly lifted its head and pointed directly behind Jake. Jake slowly turned around, expecting another shadow. Instead, he faced a 12-foot creature standing perfectly still. Its body was woven from ancient roots and black bark, while human bones protruded from its chest. Hundreds of whispered voices escaped its hollow mouth, all repeating Jake's name. Ryan fired a single shot at the Root King, but the bullet disappeared into its wooden chest without leaving a mark. The ground suddenly cracked open as thousands of living roots burst upward, wrapping around Jake's legs. Then the entire forest began breathing faster, as if it had finally found its next meal. Emma slashed the roots with her survival knife, freeing Jake for only a moment. Ryan noticed strange ancient symbols carved into the oldest pine tree. The same symbols tattooed on every missing victim in old rescue photographs. Suddenly, the symbols began glowing, and the entire forest bowed toward the Root King. The glowing symbols spread across every tree like burning veins. Emma realized the marks formed an ancient map leading beneath the oldest tree. Before they could move, the Root King struck the ground with one massive arm. The earth split open, revealing a staircase descending into complete darkness. Jake led the group down the ancient staircase as the entrance sealed behind them. The air grew colder with every step. At the bottom, thousands of human skeletons were fused into massive tree roots. Then, Emma's flashlight revealed fresh names carved into the stone wall, including all three of theirs. Ryan smashed the stone wall in panic, but fresh blood seeped from the cracks instead of dust. The carved names vanished, replaced by today's date. A deep roar shook the underground chamber as enormous roots tore through the ceiling. The Root King wasn't following them anymore. It was already waiting below. Emma remembered the ranger's journal describing a sacred stone hidden beneath the oldest tree, the only thing the Root King feared. But the greatest shock came when Jake noticed the creature wasn't protecting the forest. It was guarding something imprisoned far deeper, something trying to escape. The sealed gate suddenly cracked open, releasing a deafening roar that made the entire forest tremble. Even the Root King stepped backward for the first time. From the darkness emerged a colossal hand covered in black bark and glowing crimson veins, far larger than the creature they had feared. The giant creature spoke with thousands of human voices at once. The Root King is not your enemy. I am. The forest began collapsing as every tree twisted toward the cavern. Jake finally understood the horrifying truth. The Root King had spent centuries imprisoning this ancient entity to protect the world. Jake grabbed the sacred stone while the Root King charged toward the ancient giant. Their collision shook the cavern like an earthquake. Emma realized the glowing symbols were not a prison, they were a seal. If the last symbol broke, the creature would escape into the world forever. Emma shouted for Jake to place the sacred stone into the final seal before it shattered. Ryan held back the ancient giant for a few desperate seconds, sacrificing himself as enormous roots pierced the creature's body. Jake slammed the stone into the glowing symbol, and a blinding wave of light exploded through the cavern. The ancient giant let out one final earth-shaking scream before its body cracked into black ash. The collapsing cavern fell silent. The Root King looked at Jake without hostility, then slowly dissolved into roots that merged with the forest floor. Outside, the trees finally stopped breathing, but one crimson eye remained open in the darkness. At sunrise, Jake and Emma escaped Black Hills National Forest, but Ryan was never found. Rangers closed the area after discovering fresh footprints leading back into the trees. Footprints no human could have made. If you had survived this forest, would you ever return? Tell us below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because some forests never stop watching. If you enjoyed the story, head over to my YouTube profile to watch the next chapter.